Hey there, folks. I'm Isaac, and I've played the same fishing minigame for 300 hours. I'm never going to complete the game.
Is that real?
No.
Oh, okay.
That would be ridiculous. Although, if you count all the times that I've played fishing games
I was going to say.
in all games, and it's basically the same fishing minigame every time, probably a cumulative 300 hours.
And
I was just going to say they love them fishing games.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I'm Claire, and my favorite fishing minigame is from Link's Awakening.
Yeah! And this is
Make
That Game!
Where we pitch the latest,
The greatest.
new video game ideas.
That aren't ever going to get made.
I think Isaac almost forgot what this show is about.
It's apparently a rough one, folks. I don't know. I stumbled over what I was saying, and then I forgot that we have to go and sync, and it's like I've never recorded an episode of this before.
Yeah. Whereas you've actually recorded the most in a short period of time ever.
Yeah, that's true.
You've actually been recording all day, every day.
You'd think it would be fresh in my mind.
One would think.
Yeah. Well, can you remind me what we do here?
Yeah. So here in this very studio, quotes, quote unquote.
This is a studio.
Yeah. We pitch game ideas to each other that we came up with.
And the audience?
And the audience.
Okay.
That would
be real weird if it just went silent.
They have to close their ears. They have to cover it up. Yeah, you're actually not supposed to be hearing it.
Yeah, this is a private conversation. You're eavesdropping.
As podcasts do. Okay,
so we pitch games. Do you have a game to pitch
me
and the audience?
Okay, sure. Yes, I do. It's in my notes app. That's how we stay organized here. Yes. So my game is called Skeleton Hands.
Okay, Skeleton Hands. All right.
Yes, and it is a game about excavating bones. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So here's the idea.
Specifically hands?
No, it's just kind of like a fun way to say it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
But the idea is inspired by the fact that we discover new things about skeletons all the time, like fossils that we find, especially with dinosaurs, where, you think one goes with one, but that might not be the case. And I remember as a kid being really surprised that a lot of the dinosaur skeletons that we see aren't complete. Like they're created by copying or guessing at missing bones. It's actually pretty rare to find a complete skeleton as a fossil. So it's educated guessing, it's still science, but...
Wait. Does that mean, and you might not know the answer to this, but like in the museums when they have like T-Rex skeletons, are some of those bones, I mean, maybe the entire thing is fake, but are some of those bones like literally fake bones or are they like actually 16 different T-Rex skeletons put together to make one skeleton?
So to be aware, I'm not an archaeologist, but from my understanding, so first of all, most skeletons you see in museums, depending on the museum, are not real. They're casts.
Okay, that makes sense to me. You wouldn't want to display the actual bones.
I mean, there are situations where you do have that. But
in Animal Crossing, I think they're real.
Well, yeah. Although in Animal Crossing, I really would love to know the paleontological landscape that allows so many skeletons to be on one island.
That's true.
I have 20 T-Rex skulls from this one island. They show up daily. It's totally fine.
And not just the skulls, like it's like an entire section of the beast.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying, it's wild. It's wild. So most museums, they're cast, especially if they're just like out in the open air.
Right.
But yes, they will cast, like say, maybe you have one leg, but you don't have the other leg. They'll make a cast and make the second leg. Or maybe you're missing a rib cage. They'll use a guess based on other species in the area on what that rib cage might look like.
Completely. I was thinking we found this leg bone in Peru and this tooth in Chile and this tailbone in Canada.
But they slap it all together.
But it's all one T-Rex.
No, not usually. I mean, it depends. I guess that could happen too. I don't think it would happen with that big of geographical difference.
Yeah, I don't think animals actually usually have that big of a spread except for
Right, if they were finding similar, that would be a whole other thing. They'd be why are there similar bones here and here and here? Yeah. That would be a whole thing.
A worldwide species.
But I mean, you're right that probably when you look at a T-Rex skeleton, it's not the same T-Rex, which is kind of morbid now that you say that out loud. Like, it'd be like if like some creature in the far, far future like found like your skull in my femur and someone else's arm, and they're like, this is a human.
Yeah. That's great. That's actually, I'm gonna start that. Sorry, I am distracting so much from this.
Yeah,
game
this
idea.
is. Well, thank you for coming to Paleontology Talk. With Isaac and Claire on Make That Game. No, so the game itself is based around this theory, though, so it's good.
Okay.
It's good.
Right.
It's based around putting skeletons together and making your best guess at what a skeleton could be. So you're excavating. The game is in a couple segments. The first segment, you'd be excavating, and you can travel around the like map, I guess, game map.
Okay.
To excavate different areas and collect fossils.
Do you envision this to be a worldwide game, or like you have like an archaeologist camp with like different sections?
I guess worldwide.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Little airplane animation with
but
dotted lines.
it's not necessarily like our world either. So
no, well, of course not.
Yeah, but yeah,
we
you can go anywhere you want. And then you're collecting the bones, and then you get to sort the bones, and then you get to put them together into skeletons.
Ooh, make your own skeleton.
Yeah, so basically you're trying to use like your best guess to create like a new species, and you can change your mind too. So down the road, if you find something that like, oh, this fits better than this one, like now I'm changing my mind. I'm updating the science because that happens all the time too. Maybe not all the time, but it does happen. I don't know how frequent that is, but they have announced new species of dinosaurs or adjusted different dinosaurs like classifications based on new findings. So that's kind of the idea. And the idea too is that none of these would be real. Like, it's not like you're finding T-Rex skeletons, because I don't want there to be a frame of reference. Like, I want people to just be being creative. And then the final phase is you get to display your creations in museums and have people like look at them and stuff.
All right. Is there any? Does the game know what the initial creatures are supposed to look like? Like, does it have any kind of like? Is there a mechanic where the closer you are to reality, which for the context of the game is made up, you gain something? Like, people like it better if it's more real, or is the game just giving basically a playground of bones to collect and play with?
I'm debatable. Like, at first I was thinking yes, like there's a way to get it right, but I also feel like that might make it both more and less fun, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, I completely see that. Yeah,
maybe it could be like a play mode. We love to use that as a like, you can do like accuracy mode or just like sandbox mode.
Yeah, well, you see, you can't speed run the game without the
accuracy mode.
Without the accuracy
That's
mode.
true. Well, okay, here's what could be fun is like maybe there's like a bar, like a fillable like status that like as you build, it'll say like how accurate on a percentage. So like 20% accurate, 80% accurate.
Okay, yeah.
So like, you know, maybe it's 80% and you're like, that's good enough for me. I'm putting it in a museum.
Yep. There could also be like some kind of mechanic where you can have like a research thing going on.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe that's just like a bar that fills in the background as you discover new bits and pieces, though. But like,
yeah,
as your research level goes up, you have a more clear idea of what it should be.
Yeah. And maybe there could be like a catch-em-all version too, where like you have to unearth all the bones.
Fun thing that could be happen. You could have all the bones. Like the game knows that bones exist. Yeah. And then every time you like start a new game, it procedurally generates like the actual creatures that it then distributes. And so you get the play around aspect of it, because like there's no way of predicting when you open up the game like that it's going to create a certain creature. It's going to be new creatures every time you play the game for you to reconstruct.
That might be too difficult though, because if there's only like, think about it, if there's only 3 creatures, it's going to be pretty easy to figure out how they go. Like, there has to be a wide range of creatures for it to be hard.
That's the benefit of procedural generation, is that it can generate infinite creatures.
Even their bones?
No. You would have, okay, I guess you're right. I was on the cartoon bone logic where it's like you draw the two lumps, the line,
Right.
the two lumps, and that's a leg bone.
Yeah,
and
no, for the puzzle aspect of this game to work, which it is a puzzle game, I think
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they do have to fit together.
Yeah.
So you have to procedurally generate like
not
at least
necessarily.
6-piece bone animal and then scatter it randomly across the world, which is not the hard part. And then also do that with like times 100.
Have you ever heard of the Nazca alien mummies? Because their bones don't fit together.
And on that note, I think that's my game. I think we're good with skeleton hands. Isaac, do you have a game idea? That's not related to the Nazca mummies. Thank you.
I'm sorry, but now that I mentioned it and then you said skeleton hands, it made me think of the x-rays of the Nazca mummy hands, which...
You cannot. I cannot with this.
All right. So I do have a game idea. I have, in fact, for the first time, this is not the first time, but in a recent episode, I said, I don't usually think of VR when I think of games. Well, I thought of VR this time, folks. I got a game for you called Untangling.
Whoa.
It is a game where you have a collection of wires plugged into various things, and they're all tangled up, and you have to untangle them. So, like, basic level, you got two wires tangled up in an outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to figure out a way to untangle them. Here's the twist. The various levels all have, let's call it a par, if we can borrow some golfing terms here.
I don't know. You'll have to ask your dad.
Golf expert. That determines how many times you are allowed to unplug any amount of cords. So, like, you might only be able to unplug one, like a basic 2-slot outlet with two cords tangled up. You only get one unplug. So you can't just unplug them both, figure it out, and then plug them back in. You can only unplug one of them, and then you have to figure out how to move this object in the VR world, rotating it around, spinning it around and stuff to get it untangled. So yeah, the number of unplugs that you have is one limiting factor, and then the various devices is like the other kind of obstacle, like outlets, power strips, USB hubs, the back of a entertainment center, all those kinds of things. And now that I've said all that, I feel like that's basically, the description of the game. That's kind of a short... I felt like there would be more to talk about.
I mean, I will say that surprisingly, because I always think about VR games, I feel like this is like hard for me to imagine in VR because it requires a lot of dexterity, which VR does not have.
So I imagine it in my head, the amount of dexterity that it would require, besides the unplugging and plugging in, is about the same amount of dexterity as it does to like rotate your phone or like the Nintendo Switch for like those labyrinth games, like in Breath of the Wild, like those shrines where you roll a ball through a thing using the Switch.
But that's like a totally different mechanic. Like tilting a screen is very different than like using your hands to move an object.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah?
Have you played a game in VR?
No.
Interesting.
Is this not good for VR?
I mean, it could be. I will say that like the games I've played in VR, dexterity is difficult. Like I can't really imagine the physical gameplay using the controls that are available to us that would allow, like, unplug and plug in, absolutely, but like maneuvering tangles in such a way that it's like
intuitive. I guess now that you pointed out, I guess an integral part of like flipping the phone in my hands is using the thumbs and then the fingers brace it at like a certain axis. And now that I'm thinking about it, that maneuver might not be possible. I mean, it's possible in VR,
right?
Just not in the way that I'm thinking of it. I just realized that you don't actually have fingers in VR.
Yeah, in some systems they're working on it, but yeah, generally speaking, you can like grip and let go and like tap things. That's like the main object move stuff in VR.
Oh, that's easy then. All right. In one hand, you grip, you hold the grip button, and then there's control sticks in VR, right? Yeah, and then you use that to do the rotate aspect.
Well, why wouldn't you just hold the object and move it with your hand, in your hand that you're holding.
Because you can't do we're talking about the rotate maneuver.
But
I'm rotating my phone in front.
Yeah, he's been rotating it for like maybe the whole time.
To demonstrate what I'm talking about.
Okay, well now I'm confused because I thought the rotating was just to like physically move the cables. What do you mean by rotate?
No, yeah, it is to...
Okay, so why can't I just pick up a cord and like move it?
You can also do that. It depends on the specific puzzle. Sometimes the cords will be wrapped up in such a way where you have to spin
you could move,
like the power strip that you've got.
You can move your wrist and spin it. You don't have to have a rotate command if you're holding it in VR. You can just physically move it.
In VR, you can... I am sorry, listeners, that you won't see this, but in VR, you can do this.
Well, not that, but why would you have to do that for... Okay, what he's doing is he's taking his phone and holding it like flat side and then spinning it on an axis like he's roasting it over a spit. And I just don't know why you'd have to do that to solve a chord tangle puzzle. I just don't know why you'd have to do that.
All right. Well, I'm going to tangle up a bunch of cords around a power strip.
Truly.
I'm going to set up a real life version of this game, and I'm going to demonstrate. Oh man, that would actually be that would be TikTok
that'd
content.
Be great
wouldn't
content.
It? Yeah.
We love content.
Demonstrating my game idea. Oh, it's a physical game. You can play it at home right now. Get 6 chords. We probably can't advocate for that because it probably represents some kind of dangerous hazard.
Well, as long as
play with like plugged in.
Just don't plug it. Just use a power strip, but don't plug the power strip into the wall.
Well, then that takes half the difficulty out.
We'll pretend it's plugged into the wall. We can use our imaginations. Okay, well, anyway, that was my question. I did actually, when you first brought up the name of the game, I pictured a mobile game, but mostly because I get ads for mobile games that are kind of similar to this concept.
What?
Quite a lot.
They've stolen my idea?
Well, okay, it's not identical, but basically there'll be like a bunch of tangled, like, things. I don't even know if they are cords, but like a tangle of like, and you have to like tap on them to untangle them, and then like you only have a certain number of moves to do it.
I've never seen... So the mobile games I've seen are the ones where you like run down the path.
Right.
And I've seen the ones where you pull the pins and stuff.
Oh,
and sometimes the ones that you pull the pins, they also have a thing where like you have to plug in various cords, but they've never had like a tangled up.
No, this was the tangled up game. It's just one. If I find it, I'll send it. If I see another one, I'll send it over to you. But I've seen them a couple times.
Okay. All right.
Also, can I do a quick segue on mobile games?
Yeah, let's.
Well, just while you said the pin one, so everyone has probably seen like these ads of mobile games with like the pins you pull out and like do a little puzzle or like whatever. And when you download the actual game, that's never part of it. So Matchington Manor, which is one of my favorite mobile games, I've talked about it on the pod before, but it's a match 3 game with a setting of like a manor. It doesn't really matter. But it was a game that like has a lot of like ads like that where it's not the gameplay. But they started adding in the game in the latest update little side quests where it is the pin puzzles. And I think they must have done it because of some lawsuit or regulation where like
false advertisement.
Right. So it's like, oh, it's not false advertising. Like we do have this in the game. And
it's real, actually.
And it's like the dumbest little puzzles, but I think it's so funny because they never had it before and now suddenly they're showing up and I'm like, it literally must be because someone called them out and they're like, no, like we have it. We
were just working on it at the time that we advertised it without it being there.
It's a very important part of the game.
Wow.
So, just a fun fact there.
I think we've also mentioned it on the podcast before, but there is actually a Steam game that's called something like I made all of those mobile games so that from the ads so that you can finally play it. It's like a long-winded title that like explains it like that. I'm going to have to find a link to it.
Yeah, I want to play that because, you know the mobile game I want to play?
Which one?
The one, or like the fake mobile game, is the one where like there's lots of people running and you have to like run into a thing that's like times 3 people.
Oh, yeah, the math one. I've seen so many different iterations of that where like sometimes it's not like a bunch of people. Sometimes it's like applying makeup. So like you have to hit the lipstick and then you have to hit the eyeliner and then there's like makeup wipes that like wipe it all off and then at the end of the level like you need to have a certain makeup look.
I've seen that one's funny,
but it's all the same mechanic of you just move back and forth and hit power-ups.
Also just I think we're doing the discussion segment. I think we're discussing fake mobile games. Does that work?
Oh, yeah. Hey, we've transitioned, folks.
Yeah, I think we've transitioned probably the most natural transition we've ever had. But,
yeah.
But there seems to be lots of info here, so I just want to keep going.
Yeah, we're talking. That's our
if that's okay
big,
with you,
big
listeners.
chit chat, our games chit chat.
Yeah.
I mean, how do we fold this into like because usually what we try to do here is like
talk
a
about game design,
discussion, and I guess how do we complete the segue and talk about like design specifically?
Oh,
because the problem is none of these games exist, so are they designed?
Well, I guess that is kind of an interesting point. Is like these
to some extent they are designed, right?
Right. That's the thing. It's like somebody designed these games to be really attention grabbing, and like very easy to zone out to, and like easy to play, but like they look easy. And one of the things I think that keeps people watching them is because they either have someone who's doing incredibly well, so you're like, ooh, like look at them go. But
or they're doing terrible.
Well, more often than not, they're like being so stupid that you're like, oh my God, if I played this game, I would totally beat it. And then that gets you to download the game. And then it turns out to be like a match 3 game, almost always.
Yeah, completely different than what you wanted to download in the first place.
Yeah, so I guess that's more like maybe advertising ethics, but it is a little bit of game design because the question always becomes like, why can't these be the games? I actually downloaded one that was a couple, actually, two that were very close to the ads. So one was like the one where you're like running down, but the version of this was coffee. So you have to like hold a coffee cup and like fill the coffee and like add milk and add stuff, right?
That reminds me of the greatest game that you can get on Steam, Coffee Run.
Yeah.
So, all right, the story. We're gonna do another quick tangent.
Oh boy.
One of my coworkers at a previous company I used to work for comes in one day and tells us how her son has made a video game and it's on Steam, and so me and a couple of my coworkers ended up looking into it and like downloading it, and it is. So it has tons of attention on Steam. It's a free game. It has tons of like reviews and stuff saying it's the best game ever, but it's like the internet, it like basically went semi-viral as just being a wreck of a game. So like ironically reviewing it as
That's
super
the best
good.
Game, yep.
So congratulations to my coworker who at the time high school son, I think, good career in game design coming up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually looked at it semi recently within the last few months, and there was like an update to it.
Oh wow.
And it's like, wow, gave into fan demand. It was already perfect. Like
got to. But yeah, so I downloaded that one, and the game design. So this is where you can get game design too. So like the problem with that was that it was too easy.
Right. There seems to be like a hard limit of how much of an entertaining gameplay loop that you can make with that one, as a callback to one of our earlier episodes.
I mean, I think you can do okay if you do make it more challenging, like pretty challenging, like if it's going really fast or if there's a lot of different options, like because it's not really made to be super challenging. It's supposed to be just a little distracting game. But the worst part about it, as most of these games, is it was like just like chock full of ads. It was just ad city. And
play
it's
one
like,
level, 3 ads.
It's like
one
I
level,
would pay
$3.
like I would stop these ads, but there wasn't even an option. You just had to live with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I think these games are really probably created just as ad vehicles.
I believe that the official term is shovelware.
Ah, yes.
So they shovel out. If you shovel out 100 games, you might make enough profit from each individually to all together to stack up to an actual profit.
See, and that's I think that's where the question in the game design like connection is in this shovelware, and like can shovelware be like chill? Is it can you make a good game by accident or on purpose? Like, because think about it, Matchington is one of my favorite games, and it actually has some pretty good game design. There's a really great article on like why it's good, and it was doing the same thing. Like it's showing, all of these fake ads, and it has like weird things. And then there's what's the one that has the Pedro Pascal ad? That's like.
I've never seen a Pedro Pascal
ad.
Wait,
really?
No.
It's the same one that has like grandma going to jail.
Isn't that Matchington?
No, that's like the closest clone to Matchington.
Oh,
it's called something else.
My
It's like
God.
basically the same thing because it's like you're redoing a house. But yeah, there's like an ad out there with Pedro Pascal in it. There's ads where like, I guess her husband left her and then her grandma goes to jail but leaves her the house, but also she's pregnant, but also it's cold outside. I don't know, man.
That's unhinged.
It is unhinged. But I'm saying like those games are probably real games.
Yes. I have my suspicions that they're all shovelware. I haven't looked too deeply into like Matchington, but I would not be surprised if like that and Royal Match and maybe even all of those were either produced by the same company or produced by a company that has made 300 nearly identical games and just push them all out, and they're like, all right, if we get $3 of ad profits from each of these games, that's $3,000 a month. So
I know you're at least incorrect about Matchington.
Okay.
Because the article I read about it, granted, was a few years ago, so I don't know if anything else has come out. It has only created Matchington.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that doesn't mean that the people who worked on it have not created other things. But like
that's
the
true.
studio,
They have a different LLC for each.
And they were saying like that like the person who wrote the article was like, I couldn't trace anything, but it doesn't mean that there's not like something. But the studio that creates Matchington just has Matchington, and that's part of why it's weird. Like they're like, that's part of why the article. I'll see if I can find it so we can link it again. It's probably on the old episode, but they were like, that's one of the reasons this is such a bizarre game, because it's like it just kind of showed up from this random studio, and here it is.
All right. Yep. Yeah. This is an ARG now. This podcast is an ARG.
Oh man.
We need to find the origins of Matchington Manor. I wonder if that counts as Matchington Manor. A, come on the podcast, and
oh my gosh.
B, give us money for making your ARG.
Could we truly get the developers of Matchington or designers of Matchington? That would be amazing. That would be awesome. I would love that.
It would be pretty cool. You know what else is pretty cool?
What?
The rapid fire round.
Do-do-do. That's the sound it makes.
That's do-do-do. All right, the official sound of the rapid fire round. Do-do-do.
Okay, so our rapid fire round, we're going to generate 3 random words, and we only have 5 minutes to come up with a game idea for those 3 words, and we need to make sure we have a name to go along with that game, and we're going to do it 3 times. And that's how it goes. Isaac, are you ready with the timer?
Yes, I am, and I'm starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. I didn't start until the end of that go for anyone keeping count at home.
That's fine. Now we're behind just as normal we would be.
What are our words?
Abnormal.
Okay.
Cotton.
Okay.
Platform.
Okay. All right. Okay. You are a sheep.
Okay, yep, cotton. Got it.
Wait, no, that's wool.
That's wool. Yeah, cotton is a plant.
Well, see, the abnormality here is you are a sheep that produces cotton.
Okay. 2 words in one.
Instead
you
of
got
wool.
It.
And what was the last word?
Platform.
Platform. It is this is where I was initially going with this.
Okay.
You use the cotton that your sheep produces as platforms to continuously ascend. Like you jump up and then you are able to release the cotton.
You like poof it out.
You poof it out and it creates a platform that you then use to continue ascending to the top.
Can you direct your poof?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, can you? What let's see. So, are you just going up or
yeah, what's the goal here?
Or wait, what was the third word?
It's cotton.
It's platform. Okay.
Abnormal.
All right. Opposite idea. You're descending.
Okay.
Okay. And your cotton poofs are like an attack. So there's like enemies as you descend that you have to hit. But you also have to produce and shoot out enough cotton that hits under you that it creates a soft enough platform for you to descend all the way and like stunt. It's so like a stunt tram.
You have to be really you have to figure out exactly how much.
Yeah.
So does it like run out and then you have to grow it back in between jumps?
Yes. Yeah. For some reason, another abnormal detail about it is that it does grow back pretty fast, enough for you to use it as both a weapon and a safety platform underneath you. And the interesting, gameplay, the friction there is keeping track of how much cotton you're shooting just like straight down to like hit the bottom and create something for you to land on, and how much you're shooting to like destroy obstacles and enemies.
Yeah. Also, if you fall too long, you'll have to get hurt right when you land, because otherwise...
Yeah, you'll bonk your butt, and your sheep will look real sad, and it'll have a bandage, and it'll cry.
So we can't name it this because it's not really part of the gameplay, but I just have to do the pun. Bob normal.
Bob normal?
Yeah, like Ba plus abnormal.
Okay,
but it doesn't make a lot of sense because like we have our little cotton shooting sheep, and that has not. I mean, it is abnormal, but
So here's actually the thing: we can expand this further. We can make this make sense if we have that as like a level transition type of level, right? Mm-hmm. If we make this like a normal like 2D Mario platformer type game, where you play as Bob, the Bob normal sheep. And then at the end of every level, you have like this diving sequence to get to the next level for whatever reason. Yeah. Then it makes sense. And so I think this is the first time that we've ever had the concept of having the rapid fire round words be a mini game basically within a larger game. And we need to use this more because it makes naming so much easier.
It kind of reminds me of how in Kirby levels you have at the end you do the jump up.
Yeah, exactly.
You do the jump up to the sky.
It's sort of like that, only a little more involved. A little bit more of a level on its own rather than a quick little thing. But are we done cooking on this?
I think we cooked.
With 43 seconds left on the clock, we cooked.
Normal.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right.
I don't know if we can top that one, but here we go.
Well, we'll try.
And
I'm going to make us try in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. Shorts.
Okay.
Blast.
Okay.
Stress.
Okay. All right. Shorts is kind of the one that's throwing me off here.
It made me think of farts. Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah. Why would we not be allowed to say farts? But so my initial thought, and I can't figure out how to do shorts here. I'm going to throw this out here, and maybe we can collab. You are a character who has to avoid stressful situations because as they get stressed out, they gain pressure, they gather pressure, and then eventually explode. That's
like a
the blast.
Pair of shorts?
No, well, I haven't figured out how to do the shorts.
Wait, so what was getting stretched out?
You're a character.
Oh, you're stressed out. Sorry, I thought you said stretched out.
Yeah,
like shorts
Are
getting, okay.
You're a character who, as you navigate a level, stressful things happen, and if you let stress get too high,
I feel like we've definitely done that before.
Maybe.
Okay, what if you're designing rocket shorts? And you're under a lot of stress from the Department of Defense because they ordered these rocket shorts.
Well, no, rocket shorts need to withstand a lot of stress because
so you're doing stress
the force
tests.
of the rocket. Yeah. But okay, what's the gameplay here?
Well, it could be like one of the Muscusy games style games, a silly little game. And you have to like put together different combinations of shorts and rockets, and then you just kind of blast them off and see what happens.
Actually, all right. Let's if we just take it as like you're doing a stress test, you're doing a live test. It's like a Muscusy or Untitled Goose Game kind of game. You are unleashed into the world. They have the list of like tasks that you're supposed to do, and each one of those tasks represents like a test. Mm-hmm. Like a basic one might be like get to the top of that house, and then you use the rocket shorts to get to the top of the house, and then like it's increasingly absurd tasks as the game continues on.
But you can also like so you're wearing the shorts, the player character is wearing the shorts, and we're not making real shorts. Can you imagine if it was like a of VR. You're wearing the shorts. You have different tasks, and then you can like trade out different kinds of shorts. Like maybe jorts have like a different power than like running shorts. You know, like you can like.
Oh, I was just thinking that like there's one pair of rocket shorts that you are.
I thought you could like assemble them, have a little more fun with like combos
well,
of rockets and
let's
shorts.
let's say that you can customize them just as a little for fun thing with like no real gameplay implications.
Okay.
I guess there could be gameplay implications, but I don't know. Something about that is just
No?
it's stretching it.
Really? Okay.
Well, at least for the story that we have set up so far.
I just feel like it's kind of normal to have to be able to switch weapons. Basically, is what you're doing.
Yes. My counterpoint, though, is that you're not really stress testing a pair of shorts if you're swapping shorts constantly.
Okay, right. It has to be a stress
Yeah.
test. That's the part I forgot.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, we need to come up with a name.
Blast.
Shorts off. Shorts. These shorts. These shorts will go places.
Okay. All right. With 1 minute and 4 seconds, I've decided these shorts will go places is the name of the game.
Okay, great.
Imagine, okay. It's 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
You just woke up. You can't get back to sleep.
No.
GDQ is happening. You check the schedule. You look to see what's going
It's the silly
on.
block.
It's the silly block. And you see that the game is called These Shorts Will Go Places. You're tuning into that.
You're tuning all the way in.
You cannot avoid
You might have
that.
woken up on purpose just to see it.
You might have made crepes just for this.
They announced the dates for GDQ, SGD, summer.
Winter games done quick.
That's called Awesome AGDQ.
Yeah, I was going to say Wood to QQ.
Wood to Q.
Wood
Anyway,
to Q.
I forget what they are, so you're welcome, listeners. Google it, but it is announced. I think submissions are due at the end of October.
All right, well, I'm going to submit my speed run for... I have no game prepared to joke about for that. I shouldn't have said anything. I shouldn't have opened... I should not have opened my dumb mouth. Let's move on. I'm going to start the timer in 1, 2, 3. It started. Is
Okay.
it the same game?
No, but we might have to redo it because the first word is of.
Okay.
Praise.
Praise as in like
praise, like praise, like I praise.
Okay, you
praise the Lord.
someone as opposed to he praise.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And then boy.
Okay. You're a religious little boy. You're a religious little boy.
Okay.
Also known as a Lamb of God. Okay. And
we got sheep on the brain.
We got sheep on the brain. All
Don't
right.
call me a sheep
and
brain.
You all right, Andy Milanakis. All right. How do you use prayer to solve puzzles in a video game?
I mean, could we... Well, so it's praise. Praise.
Oh, shoot. You're right. Never mind. Throw out the Lamb of God thing. No, throw it all out. All right.
Praise is different. It can be the same, I guess, but it also can be just praise.
Of is an interesting word for it to throw at us.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like that's like grounds to restart. But we're in it. So.
We're in it.
I think
let's start with boy and praise.
Okay, little praise boy.
Little praise boy.
Maybe he just wants to. He wants to be he just wants people to say you're doing such a good job.
Okay. Mm-hmm. There, you are a small boy.
Yeah.
In a town,
lad, if you will.
A lad in a town.
Yeah.
Okay. And the town, let's say it's about the size of Untitled Goose Game. That's right. We're making another Untitled Goose Game type game. You are trying to get praise instead of annoy people. This town has all kinds of little things that you can engage with to be the best of. Okay.
The best of boys.
The best of boys. And so like instead of the task being like steal the glasses or whatever, it's like
return the glasses.
Get the best of vegetables prize at
so
the county
everything
fair.
Is best of like
Yeah.
That's the of. Wow, you really did it.
So like you're patrolling around town and
Yeah.
you just find things like old lady tending to her garden. You figure out a way to help her get the best of corgets, which I think isn't that what they call
Forget?
cucumbers in Britain? Courgette.
I have never heard of that, but if you're from Britain, let us know.
Yeah, that's just an example. Best of pumpkins.
I know there's some people in the UK listening based on data.
Basically, you're just trying to get blue ribbons during this event.
All right, I think we should call it Best of Boy.
Best of Boy. That's a minute and 56 seconds left.
I like that that's basically Untitled Goose Game, but reversed.
Yeah, you're a best little lad.
You're a best little lad doing the best that you can.
Getting all kinds of praise in the form of blue ribbons.
I feel like he needs a little like...
Oh, you've got like a Looney Tunes style, like little good boy, schoolboy hat.
Yeah.
The little straw hat with yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. At first I thought I did, but straw hat? No.
We're gonna have to find an image and like figure out some way to post that as like the podcast.
Maybe
image.
on any of our many social apps. Okay, well, that's the end of our show. We did all the things we said we would do. And now we're gonna wrap it up. So you can find us on social media at Make That Game Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. You can also send us an email, makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com, where you can send us game ideas. We'll read them on the pod. You can send us games you think we should try. You can send us words we need to make games out of. It's all good fun. And you can also find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/makethatgame. And if you heard a game idea today that you love, sorry, Isaac just showed me the hat in the middle of my speech. But yes, it's like I would describe it as like a boater hat.
Yes.
Or also like, so if you picture like a quartet, like an a cappella quartet, like a barbershop quartet,
yes.
They'd wear this hat. That's the hat. Okay, got it. Anyway, if you want to program that hat into a game, you're going to have to make it. We're not. So we encourage you to get out there and make that game.